Hey, you're watching Half Asian Tarot Queen. I'm Elisa. Just reminding you, the giveaway this month is the Golden Art Nouveau Tarot. If you're interested in entering the giveaway, it's super easy. Just go to the monthly reading on the main page of the channel. I'm going to link it here too. To get the links to enter, it's super easy. There's only a couple entries so far, so the chances of winning are good. I think almost everybody that's entered so far has like won something at this point, but it could be you. I'm going to Mystical Shaman to pull a couple cards to get this reading going. So far, for the month of September, I mean, the main reading for the month was called like Ding Dong, the Witch is Dead. So it was like talking about like removing some oppressive situation that had like been kind of holding someone back for a really long time, but that being something that's an energy that's really shifting this month. So interesting stuff. Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm just gonna pull a couple more. If you're new to the channel, you will know that the readings on this channel are arranged according to storyline and not so much date or zodiac sign. So I'll link related readings up here. And then I've also arranged them in playlists on the channel according to like certain themes or stories. And I have links to that down below. Okay, so at the bottom of the deck we have the drum. So this is really interesting because this talks about sort of like being in flow. In one of the readings, either the September monthly or the one right after, whatever reading it is, I'll link it up here, unless it's the September monthly because I've already linked that. But it was talking about this huge like awakening, like change in perspective that was going to lead someone to like go into a flow state. So this drum speaks to that. Like it's just like kind of like being just surrendering to the rhythm of the universe and to your destiny, you know. And so there's this like there's this wisdom there and there's this rhythm, you know, and so it's like you become part of the rhythm. Like you're not trying to control the rhythm, you just are, you know, you are the rhythm, you know. And so you kind of you surrender to that, and then you become one with whatever your destiny is meant to be, you know. And so there's like a certain elegance to this rhythm and like allowing it to unfold and like sort of like take you along, you know, the river towards the next stage of your life or whatever is unfolding for you. And so it really goes nicely with the cards that are showing up here, because we have the Serpent, the Ancient Ones, and we have the Wind. So the Wind, you know, this is a card that speaks to change. You know, it's huge change that's happening. I think everyone can relate to that right now with what's going on in the world. But this is also about having the courage to face the wind. You know, it's like when things change in our external environment, things are changing internally too. And so, you know, a lot of times people go into this sort of self-protective mode when change happens, and they just like resist change and they don't want to face whatever it is that's changing. But this card is the opposite. It's like speaks to like really just facing the change, facing it head on, and also just like being able to surrender to this rhythm, and also like to the lesson that you are meant to learn, you know, because in order to have a different experience in life, like there's something about our perspective or how we're engaging the world that also needs to change. And so that's this, you know, this card is inviting you to examine that, you know. And along with that, we have this card, the Serpent, which this is a card of awakening. You know, it's a card of shedding an old way of being or an old perspective or how you've connected to the world. You're shedding this skin, and exposing your, you know, soft underbelly to the world, and allowing change to happen. It's interesting because I've been totally, for whatever reason, hooked to this channel on YouTube in the last couple days called, I think it's called Soft White Underbelly, and it's like interviewing all these like people like on Skid Row and their stories, and it's super fascinating because there's just this whole gamut, you know. I mean, people have these stereotypes about, you know, what leads a person to that situation, but it's really interesting because it's like you have people that are, you know, just the whole gamut, and there's this whole range, you know, and it's just like people who are like actually, you know, doing well, and not how you would think, you know. But then there's also people who like are really down on their luck and like addicted to drugs, or, you know, whatever. But like it's just, I think, a really interesting examination of like the reality, you know, and not so much the stereotypes, you know. But I don't know why that came up here, but it's just like we're exposing our soft underbelly and the reality of who we are, and like allowing that to unfold, you know. And then we have the ancient ones. So this is a card of ancestors, and just your ancestors are around and they're guiding you through this experience, you know, because this is a big shift and a big change. So I'm going to go to the Muse Tarot to get some overall energies for this reading. But, you know, there's this huge transformation, and the monthly reading speaks to that, like to a huge transformation, like removing just sort of like this oppressive situation, you know. And oftentimes when some, you know, when you're in some sort of oppressive situation, like that's kind of being embodied by a person or a situation, you know, in your life. But there's something about you that needs to shift in order to like no longer sort of accept that situation for yourself too. So there's like a massive healing within yourself that has to happen as part of your like liberation from whatever that situation is, you know. And so, you know, what you can do is the examination of yourself and shedding whatever belief system or perspective you might have been carrying that's been supporting that situation, you know. For myself, it's actually my birthday today, and I'm going through a transformation like that, and it's like realizing that I've been carrying around these belief systems my whole life and not even realizing them, because they go back, you know, to so far into my roots that I just like accepted it as, you know, that's the way things are, but actually it's not. I just didn't know, you know. Okay, so at the bottom we have the Knight of Voices. So this is like the Knight of Swords in a traditional deck. So this is a card of like a message of truth or clarity coming in, and coming in quickly, you know. So there's like some sort of truth that's being exposed, and like is really, it's kind of a catalyst for whatever this change is that's needing to happen. Okay, so we have the Eight of Voices. So this is a card of fear and anxiety and sort of being imprisoned by that, you know. So I think that speaks to like what I was talking about, like having to do this examination on yourself and your belief system and whatever it is that you're holding on to that's like allowing you to like settle in whatever situation that's not serving you, you know, because that's the perspective that's being shed right now. It's like you need to have total clarity on what that is that's holding you back, and you need to like be very conscious about like letting that go and no longer supporting that with your energy. I mean, that's what's going to fuel this whole transformation, you know. And then we have the Fool. So this is taking a leap of faith into the unknown, like completely just having faith that, like, you're going to engage the world from this completely different point of view, knowing that your ancestors are behind you, they're guiding you through this change, you know. And then we have the Ace of Voices. So this is truth, you know. And look, there's an owl here, which that's also, the owl card talks about signs and synchronicities and your ancestors like guiding you. You know, there's this truth happening. And it's like you have to, in order to facilitate this change in the world around you, it has to start here, you know. And you have to have the courage to like face that part of yourself and be conscious about changing it, you know. And that's actually what's going to facilitate the change. It's like not an external thing. I mean, it is an external thing, but like it has to start with you, you know. I mean, at the foundation. Okay, I'm going to the Golden Art Nouveau to pull some more cards to get some, just flip some stuff. Get some guidance about, like, how we're gonna, I mean, I want to, like, maybe get a little bit more clarity about what's going on. But so, just a reminder that this is the deck that I'm giving away for the month of September. So, if you're interested in entering that giveaway, again, check out the monthly reading for September, because that's where it's all headquartered. But it's a super easy process. We've had lots of winners so far. Oh my gosh. I have got some upside down cards in here. I don't know how that exactly happened, but got a lot of upside down cards in here. I don't know if they're all upside. Okay. All right. We're back on the chain gang here. Okay. Oh my gosh. Couple more cards. I don't know if I mentioned this, but it's my birthday when I'm filming this, so it's just like, woohoo. It's definitely for me a time, you know, when you reflect on the year and like what's in store for the next year and like all of that. Okay. All right, so at the bottom of the deck, we have the 10 of Wands. So this is like a burden, you know, that you've been carrying forever. And it's just like, this is a card of like putting that down, you know. So it's interesting because it's like some belief system or situation that you've been hanging on to and it's been holding you back. And it's time for you to just be crystal clear about what that situation is, how you've been supporting that, because this isn't ultimately your burden. Like, it's time to put this down, you know. And then we have the 6 of Wands. We have the 5 of Pentacles upside down. And we have the Page of Swords, which happened right on top of this Ace of Swords, you know. So it's just like, again, this is a messenger coming in with a message of truth or clarity. And sometimes this can also be like a stalker, you know, which is like sort of like the embodiment of like this toxic energy. But there's a whole thread on the channel where these two energies are really prevalent, and it's called stalkers, because it's like this energy is an energy of lack or unworthiness or feeling like you don't have enough or you're not worthy. And so it like kind of supports toxic situations, and like a stalker situation is one way that this can sort of like act out, you know. But it's sort of like when you're harboring this energy of feeling like you're not enough or you don't have enough or you know you're in lack, that's going to support these kinds of toxic situations. So it's interesting because this is upside down. So it's like we finally learn the lesson. It's like that's what needs to shift within your own consciousness to not attract this situation anymore. And that's how we need to like embrace the world moving forward, you know. And we have this card of victory on top of this fear and anxiety. So we're going to actually be successful at shedding this perspective that's been holding us back. And it's a perspective of unworthiness and lack and feeling like you're not enough. Like, we're leaving that in the past and we're going forward with confidence, you know. And then in doing that, that's going to shed light on whatever these toxic situations are in your orbit that are holding you back. Like, in doing that, you're going to like expose these situations that are holding you back, and they're going to come to light because you're no longer supporting this situation, because you're no longer supporting like an abusive situation where you're like, oh, I guess I deserve this, you know, because you feel unworthy and people are like entitled and taking advantage, and like you're not getting, you know, what's justly due to you because in some way you don't believe that you're worthy, you know. And so by turning that upside down, you're going to expose these situations in your environment. They're going to come to light. And so, I mean, that's the first step in like sort of like bringing justice into your world, you know. And so then we have the Ace of Swords. So, you know, like the truth is coming out, you know. We're going to have victory over this, you know. And then we have the High Priestess, which is a card of manifestation and a card of really being tapped in, you know. So it's just like your ancestors are behind you, you know. Go forward with confidence because we're turning this over, and we're stepping into a new era where we're actually, instead of being oppressed, we're actually turning our energy out. Instead of being destructive, we're turning it out into the world, and we're like actually manifesting things. And this is bringing a huge transformation, like the Death card, you know. It's like we're doing like a cleanup job, like we're cleaning up all these energies in our world that have like been holding us back, you know, that we've been supporting by sort of like not really, you know, confronting them with the truth, you know. I mean, it's like it's your sort of responsibility when this stuff comes up in your environment to expose the truth, you know, like that's how you move through that. So, okay, I'm going to pull a couple more cards from the Muse. Oops. Oh my gosh. Wow. Okay. So at the bottom we have 3 of Inspiration. So this is a card of like, look at this. There's this domino effect, you know, where it's like you're manifesting something in the future, you know. So you've set some sort of chain of events in motion that's going to have a profound impact. And so this is crazy because we have this 5 of Materials, again, the card of lack and the card of unworthiness. But that's followed by the Wheel, you know. And then this situation is changing. And then we have the Tower, the Wheel and the Tower. So it's just like we're having victory. We're exposing this unworthiness. And then that situation is changing, you know. We're going from this lack into being in our power and manifesting, you know. And we have the support of our ancestors behind us. And then this, you know, the truth is being shed on whatever these toxic situations are, and they're being disrupted. You know, we have Death and the Tower. Like those situations, they're going away, you know. So it's just like this is a probably pretty dramatic situation, you know, because I'm sure there's probably people that have gotten really comfortable with whatever that imbalance is and are not gonna appreciate the appeal. So for sure, very dramatic. You know, we've got the Wheel, we've got the Tower, we've got Death. This is like not an easy transition, you know, but it's necessary because, you know, you gotta make things right. Okay. All right, I'm gonna go to the Starseed for a couple cards to end the reading, but we got the Cosmic Heart, Devotion, Potency, Making Your Life a Moving Prayer. And then we have the breath of the cosmos. My will to thy will, micromanaging the universe. So these are cards of like surrender, and cards of like having faith and trusting that things are going to work out. You know, this is like the drum. It's just like surrender to the flow and let things work themselves out. Like this is bigger than you, and you just need to trust that things are going to work out how they're meant to. So, looks like a big shakeup. Good luck with this. We'll check back with you soon. Oh, and if you're interested in the ketones, again, I'm putting links about that into the description box. I'm in the middle of a 10-day challenge, and it's like profound. I'm going to do a whole video about that because the impact is like... So yeah, we'll check in soon about that too.